Hey everybody, Brian here with Drooling Moose Hideaway, and today I want to talk about the #1 mistake people make when they're getting ready to move off grid. Let's say that you're getting ready to move off grid. Maybe you are, maybe you've been thinking about it or whatever. And you want advice on like, how do you prepare to live off grid? Now, there are people that actually make a living as consultants doing this, and they help consult people on how to set up their solar systems and stuff like that. And I think that's great, but there's one big piece of advice that I think they're getting wrong, a big mistake that people are making when they're preparing to move off grid. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. So the main conventional wisdom seems to be that, take the average person living on the grid, that's always lived on the grid, okay, and their power consumption level. And the advice is to, slowly start seeing how little power you can use, okay? This seems to make a lot of sense, right? To adjust your lifestyle, because it's a massive lifestyle adjustment, and adjust in a way where you're kind of reducing down. You see how low you can get it, okay? And then after you've lived at with a certain, you've kind of leveled out, this is how much power we're using, and then designing and building the power system, whether it be solar or wind or whatever, to match that. This is where we're getting it wrong. And if this is the way you've done it, or the way you're going about it right now, don't feel bad. This is exactly the way I thought it should be done before I did what I'm doing, what we're doing here. And in case you're new here, basically for the last 2 years, a little over 2 years, we have been living on almost zero power electricity. We didn't move out here and the first thing we did build a solar system, a solar panel system, or anything like that, okay? I would say it's very close to zero. I'll explain the couple of exceptions that we have there when it comes to power in a minute. So this has been my experience living without electricity for 2+ years. And the reason I decided to bring up this topic is that now that I'm getting ready to design and build my off-grid power system, I realize that I'm doing it much, much differently, let alone cheaply, than I would have when I was just moving out here, if I had gone by the sort of the conventional wisdom on this. So just follow me here for a second. Instead of this approach where we started our peak consumption and see how low we can get, and then base our system, design our system off that number, whatever that kilowatts or whatever that we've come up with, okay? If we go down to zero and we learn how to live like that, we find that we don't need as much, and it's much easier. That it's painful to go from here to here, but it's great to go from here to here. You know what I'm saying? So going from the top and reducing that down and kind of holding it there, that's painful. And I think that's where a lot of people that try the off-grid, where we lose them. Okay, where they give up on it, or they end up spending a lot of money on a really big system that maybe they didn't need, or a lot of money on all these off-grid appliances that are being sold for insane amounts of money right now. Okay, so if you start at the bottom, like right now, where I'm using almost zero electricity. Now, obviously, I'm making a film right now. You can see I have lighting, so there are, it's not like we're completely Amish, okay? But we only have 2 things that produce power here. We have a small generator and we have a car, okay? So things can be charged in your car. Cell phones. Our cell phones are almost completely, they're completely charged in the car. So, you know, I have a day job right now. I drive back and forth, and we charge cell phones in the car as well as backup batteries. In fact, I'll show you something here real quick. This is a USB, an Ankor, backup USB battery pack. Okay. I'll do a review on this or something sometime, and I'll leave a link for this down in the description. I highly recommend these. The Ankor brand is fantastic. We have used a lot of these, a lot of different brands and styles and sizes and everything, and the Ankors have held up the best bang for your buck. But see this USB cord right in here? This is what the light that you're seeing on right now, that's what it's being run off of. Okay, it's a USB LED light, and we just have it into an Ankor battery pack. This was charged today while I was driving to and from work. So, you know, we can charge cell phones and run a lot of other USB devices, especially off these battery packs. Now, we do have a small generator, and what I see a lot of people assume, or what a lot of people think they're going to do, or what a lot of people end up doing when they do something similar to us, is they end up running a generator a lot. Some people run a generator 24/7. Some people run them all day. Some people will run them all night. Our generator runs maybe an hour a week, if that. It's basically only used for a couple things. A few power tools that I have. So it was run a little bit more when we were building the house, because I was using it to run a skill saw mostly. It was basically had a skill saw and a sawzall. Okay, so we were using that for building, and then we have a small washing machine unit that will plug into that too when we do laundry, and that's about it. And I tell you, you know, we get creative with things. Now that I've lived like this, okay, I think of all the things that I thought I needed to power, that I thought I would have to, you know, build a solar panel system for. Even at reducing, you know, the standard where we come up from a peak and we reduce down and see what we can get our power bill to. You know, I see people all the time when they're talking about going off grid asking questions like, how much power will my coffee maker do? How do I run a coffee maker? Or even more ridiculous, how do I run a microwave? Don't really miss the microwave. I don't know what I'd do with one now. Okay, you get used to these things, and these conveniences, modern conveniences, begin to feel like essentials, like things we should have or that we have to have, etc. Okay, you know what I do instead of running a coffee maker? I have a French press. You boil water, you put your grounds in there, you pour the water in there, you wait 2 minutes, you pour it, and it is a superior coffee to anything a coffee maker can do. Okay? So there's all kinds of different things. Right now, as I'm designing my off-grid power system, here's the thing. Okay, when you're starting out homesteading, there is a lot of things for you to spend time and money on. A lot. Okay, especially if you're doing it from scratch like us and you're building your own house and you want to get driveways cut in, and there's all these other expenses. Okay, save yourself some money starting out. Okay, right now I'm putting together a solar system with a battery bank. I'm only concerned with two things right now. Refrigeration. Now that's a big one. Refrigeration is a big one, learning how to go without refrigeration. But I mean, people reserve food for a long time before refrigerators are invented. There's different ways of doing it. You might need to change up your diet and some of your habits and stuff like that. It can be done. Okay? And it definitely helps if you live in a climate like we live in, where at least half of the year the outdoors is a refrigerator and, well, usually a freezer. So refrigeration and extra lighting, especially in the winter. Okay, we use a lot of rechargeable battery lighting and oil lamps and stuff like that, but it would be nice to, especially in the wintertime here, it's so dark for so long. We get very few hours of daylight that that's kind of a priority for this year, being able to get a little bit more lighting than what we had before. And we're different options for that. So I can build a very small system to take care of those two things. Okay? Those two things are taken care of, and possibly have a little bit more wiggle room to run some other things. Okay? And build your homestead. Okay? Get everything off the ground. Get your house built. Get everything for your animals. And do the homestead that you're going to do. Or even if you're just going off grid, but you're not going to homestead. Okay? You just want to save money, or, you know, do things better for the environment, or be more self-sufficient, whatever your reasoning for going off grid is. Okay? The great thing with the majority of off-grid systems, if you do it right, they're modular. You can start small, you can add on to them. Okay? You can build your battery bank bigger, you can add solar panels, etc. Okay? But if you're trying to replace or get to the levels of consumption that you were doing before, you're going to spend a lot of money, and a lot of money. Okay? And it's going to be a lot more painful for you when you realize that you can't flip on that light switch. Or, okay? Now, what I'm talking about here is painful in the beginning. Okay? But I look at it sort of like ripping off a Band-Aid. Okay? Do it fast. Get it over with. And you begin to adapt to this lifestyle. You begin to find other ways of doing things. And you know, over 2 years now, no electricity bill, and very little money invested into off-grid power. We're doing just fine. Now, I don't expect everybody to do this the same way we did. It's not what I expect. You can, but it is a bit extreme what we've done here. I realize that. And it's not for everyone. And I would not, well, I wouldn't say I wouldn't. I don't prefer to live like this forever. We are building off-grid power, and we are building up to where we can live fairly normal, I guess you could say, as far as power consumption. But not sinking that money into, you know, all the solar panels and batteries and everything else, or wind turbines or whatever, right off the bat, allows us to get, you know, more infrastructure done here, build the house sooner, pay the land off sooner, you know, do more things early when it needs to be done. Okay? And then build your system to match your new lifestyle. Your new lifestyle is going from living without electricity, okay, and being used to that, and finding a way to work. Then every little bit of more electricity that you get access to is amazing. Rather than having to constantly crunch yourself down from what you are used to, it's more positive than negative. Just put it that way. Okay, starting here and then coming down here is a negative experience. Okay, now if you go down to here, that is negative at first, but then it becomes positive. Okay, this is my advice, and I think it's I really think it's something that people should consider. Now, my recommendation in all reality here is, if you're thinking about going off grid, you're looking into the process, you're getting ready, or maybe you are in the process of doing this sort of, you know, reduction method, okay, where you just try to bring it down as far as you can, but not get rid of it. Give it a try. You know, people talk about, you know, the power's out. It's a bad thing. The power's out. The power's out. Or preppers in the prepping community and everything like that is, what do you do when the power's out? What's your backup power strategies? We're good. If the power's out and my solar panels all shatter and break, or whatever I have, I'm good because I've lived like this. I know what to do, and I'm fine with it. Okay? I'm not saying everybody should go Amish. That's not what I'm saying at all. Okay? What I'm saying is you can find ways of living comfortably without the power consumption for a while, which will allow you to invest more money into your homestead. But not even just that. So let's say you have the money, okay? You've done well in life and you have the money. It's not really a big deal for you to sink a bunch of money into the power system. I just think that not all problems are best solved by throwing money at them, okay? And I think this is one of those because it's more of a lifestyle thing, to where I think you will be happier with the system you build in that positive way than the system you build in that negative way. Even if it doesn't save you any more money, you will design it in a way that just works better. When I think back to the system that I was going to make, that I had planned when we first moved here, and then didn't end up implementing, and we lived like this now for 2 years. Now I think of the system I'm building now, they're night and day. They're completely different. And I'll do more on our solar off-grid power system plans. I hope I didn't ramble too much. I hope I was clear and concise. But here's my challenge to you. Even if you're not planning on going off-grid, okay? You have no plans to go off-grid, okay? Make it a fun thing, right? Make it like a preparedness thing. Try going a weekend without electricity. Just shut it down in your house. There's a master service panel with a big old breaker. Shut it off. And there's another thing. You will spend more time with your family. You will spend more time with your kids, more time with your spouse, quality time. Okay? Now, before you shut that off, you better make sure that you have things set up to be able to live and survive and have sanitary conditions and whatever needs to happen. Don't just go down there right now and shut it off and go to the dark ages, okay? But if you're planning on going off-grid, I would challenge you to go without electricity for 30 days before you do it. 30 days at a minimum. I think that if you struggle going... Now, I'm going to caveat this real quick, okay? Some of you, you're in homes where maybe things are set up to where there's vital functions in the home that need to happen because of the way the home is designed to have power to run a well pump or things with septic and stuff like that, right? Okay, I get that. Have those run. But do not use electricity. Unplug everything. Turn off all the light switches. And I think if you have a difficult time, that's not going to be easy, but if you have a very, very difficult time to where you're miserable doing that for 30 days, I really, really highly suggest you rethink going off-grid. I don't want to dissuade anybody from doing it. I'm just saying I think you need to reevaluate and rethink, because there can very well be, if you're going off-grid, there could very well be times where maybe you're on solar and the sun just isn't out for a while. You're very limited. You don't get to run the things you want to run. Even if you built a big, expensive system, components could break or whatever, right? You are responsible for your power, not the power company. Okay? When the storm comes and they're responsible for going out there and fixing the poles and the down trees and all that, you're responsible for it. Once you go off grid and you put in that system, that's on you to maintain it, to care for it, to repair it, and to deal with it if there's a problem. I'm telling you, designing my off-grid system is a much more positive experience than it was in the beginning when I had originally designed it. It was a negative experience It was, you know, just hemming and hawing and pulling my hair out about how much power I thought I needed versus how much it was going to cost and how much work was going to have to go into equipment and everything like that to make that happen. Now it's, you know, if I spend a little bit of money and buy another battery pack that gives me a little bit more functionality, I'm super excited. Okay, well, I'm able to run a light like this to do my videos. I'm super excited. Okay, it's a positive experience. This is just my 2 cents, and it's from my experience. This isn't like the advice you're going to get from most of your off-grid solar consultants and system builders and stuff like that. For one, they're trying to sell you a product. Okay, and there's some of them out there that are really trying to help people go off-grid. And they really do believe that this is the best way to do it, probably because that's the way they were taught or that's what they heard. Maybe that's what they did, but how many of them? I would ask them, what's the longest amount of time they have gone without electricity? I just think it gives you another perspective. I would say maybe, you know, if you wanted to try this method in addition to the other method, okay? Try the, okay, we're consuming X amount, you know, they have a whole thing. You look on the internet, you're going to find all this advice about, you know, you look at your utility bill and you see how much you're using, and then you try to, you know, use a few less lights or whatever and see how much and see how low you can get it over a course of X amount of months, okay? And then maybe try a month without using the electricity and just see what happens. And maybe, you know, you're not like us where, you know, we're willing to go basically without the electricity, but maybe after that you can decide that, you know, we're going to go with a smaller system at first that runs some very basic essential things, okay? And then we can build on it from there. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a good way to go about it. I do believe that that is a big mistake that a lot of people trying to go off-grid makes. And I think that that is one of the reasons why a lot of people going off-grid, off-grid homesteads fail. Look at it as like, oh no, I only have, you know, this much power that I can use today or whatever, or it's cloudy, you know, this, you know, what a bummer, right? Instead of like, hey, look at the power I get to use today, because last week before I built the system, I couldn't do any of this, okay? So just keep that in mind. So guys, thanks for sticking around. And I know this was not the type of video where I'm out and, you know, building cool things and showing you the animals and stuff like that. We got some things going on here, and we're kind of a little crazy busy. It's dark outside and everything like that, but I wanted to get a video to you guys, and I think this is an important topic. It's something I've wanted to address at some point. So next time I do one of these little sit-down chats with you guys, the topic is going to be, right, not spending a bunch of money right off the bat going into homesteading. Sort of in the vein of this, right? We're going to expand out from that. Just, you know, advice from someone who's been there, not trying to fluff it up, not trying to, you know, make it seem like some big glorious thing. It is great, but you know, a lot of the stuff you see on the internet is hyped. A lot of the advice you get on the internet is from people who haven't done it or haven't done it the hard way. So we'll catch you guys next time. Don't forget to please, if you like this video and you want to check out our other videos, we are starting out. It's a newer channel. We don't have a lot up here. We're working on it. We're working on the quality. I got this cool new light that runs off the USB like I showed you. Okay. If you could, if you like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can hear the newest stuff. Also, check out the description where I'm going to have the links to our other social media pages so you can come hang out with us there. And a link to sign up for our newsletter. There's going to be another big announcement coming out soon, hopefully within the week. And there will also be links for some of the equipment that I mentioned today, the batteries and stuff. Links also in the description if you want to check those out yourself. I do highly recommend these Ankor batteries. There's a link right down there for a couple of different models I have. So if you're going off grid in any capacity, you need them. If you're not off grid, guess what? You need them. You should have them. They're a great emergency backup for traveling, power outages, whatever. Have one or two of them around. They're really handy. And, you know, in the vein of ways that we charge some of our stuff, I also just wanted to show you this here real quick. This is a portable solar charger that we have, and it charges cell phones, tablets, etc. I will have a link to this one as well. This is a great backup for making sure your cell phone is charged. Okay, we live in a day and age where keeping that cell phone charged is really essential. I mean, it's your lifeline. It's a great tool in case of emergency, everything like that. This will charge basically anything USB. Anything that charges off USB, this guy's got you covered. They work really good. It's Blitzwolf. This is a 15-watt solar charger. They got several different types. This is also great for backpackers, backpacking, camping, hiking, etc. There will be a link in the description for this. I'll catch you guys later.